What is up, everybody? It's Bart Johnson here. Happy to be back. Another week of quarantine down. It is Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and welcome to our weekly live stream. I guess we can call them the quarantine streams now, as we try and find some humor in everything that's going on in the world. But we're not going to talk about that stuff today. We're here to talk about live streaming tech and cool stuff and just nerd out over what we got going on here. So I see we've already got some people in here, which is awesome. So a few housekeeping things up front first. If this is your first time joining, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And if you're catching the replay, I hope you enjoy and go ahead and consider clicking subscribe, click that notification bell so that you can join us live on the next time we go live. So of course, we're going to dive right into this here, guys. We got a lot we want to cover today, but the beauty of this is that it is live, meaning that I get to interact with you guys in real time, which is pretty much the only interaction we get with other human beings these days. So let's go ahead and get our chat pulled up. That one does not seem to be working, of course, but this one does. So maybe I'll go back to my original one here. So as you can see, we've got a couple of people here in the chat already. Kevin from The Basic Filmmaker. Kevin, I'm glad you made it this time. You're one of the ones joining it live as opposed to catching the replay. So I know we had confusion over time zones, but yeah, man, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's 1 in the afternoon for me here on the East Coast, holding it down. We've got a couple other people here. We got Rob is in here. Good to see you. Loving the elevator music. So yeah. The elevator music will not be in the replay, so you have to be live and hanging out in order to know what Rob is talking about. Kevin's asking a little bit, NDI is a source for the iPad, mind freaking blown. Yeah, that's something I just discovered we're going to talk about today. Walter, being Detroit, hello, first time. Welcome, glad to have new people in here. Awesome, awesome. And we got a lot of other people saying hello. Great. So that's what we want in here. This is a live stream. This is live chat. We are going to have a good time. So as some of you may know from last week's show, I'm actually experimenting with some new software for live streaming. I know, why would you debut new software and then do a show about your stream? But it all works. I pretty much got it figured out. I'm going to show you guys today a couple of things about how I've got my live streaming set up here. I'm by no means a live streaming expert. I've kind of learned it myself, self-taught from YouTube and other creators out there. Hello from Paris. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, you know, I've sort of pieced this thing together and kind of figured it out. And I am in a temporary house. This isn't my normal studio and home setup and all that stuff. So, but I got enough to get us up and running and going, and I'm going to walk you guys through it. So I want to take you guys through a couple aspects of what I've got going on. First, we're going to talk just very briefly about the computer that I'm using. Not going to go super deep into the computer because if you're live streaming, chances are you have a computer. We're going to talk about the software that I'm using and some other options that are out there. We're going to talk about the camera that I'm using, the particular camera setup that I've chosen for this guy right here. We're going to talk about capture cards and capture devices, so how I'm getting everything into my system. We're going to talk about audio, because audio is a big pain in the butt and can be crazy with live streams trying to manage it. We're going to talk about switchers or control devices, and we're going to finally talk about lighting. Now, my lighting in this particular room isn't the greatest. I do have these windows behind me, so I'm at the mercy of the sun, but I do have a couple lights that I'm using in here, so I'll show you guys what we got going on. But really, we're going to talk about the nitty-gritty of the tech for getting a stream, a decent looking stream, out there onto the internet so that you can hang out with people. So what we got, so Kevin's asking, music not in replay, explain please. Sorry, I'm being a pain in the ass. No, you're good, Kevin, no worries. So for those of you who watched the live at the very beginning, I have the stream starting soon with the elevator music that everybody seems to love so much. And then it actually does a countdown. And then if you'll notice, there's a dip to black before my logo begins. So after this stream is fully uploaded and compressed and converted by YouTube, I go in and I use the trim tool in YouTube in the studio editor. to cut right at that black point. So the replay video actually just starts right with my logo coming up. So the replay people don't have to watch that 9-second countdown, and they don't have to see the stream starting soon. So there we go. Shiznuts is in here. Good to see you. Speaking of live streaming, I'm actually following the race right now. Real racers and sim racers taking on mainstream streaming. Yeah, we've been talking about the racing streams. I haven't checked any of them out yet. I've been playing with my own setup here and getting it going. So if you guys have any questions about anything along the way, of course, please feel free to pop them into the chat. Let me see if that other chat window is working. No, it's not. So we'll skip that for now. This chat works. And yeah, any questions along the way on anything, there are links down in the description below to as many things as I could think of that I'm going to reference today. If anything else does come up, I'll add them afterwards. But let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. So first, I'm going to show you guys a little behind the scenes here. So let's go to the B cam. There you go, guys. So here we go. This is literally my setup here. So I have my triple screens where I've got everything that I need to see for the stream. I usually on this screen right here have any websites or stuff that I want to share with you guys. So I've got some that we'll be switching to a little bit later in the show. On my main screen in front here, I have my software, my streaming software. I'm using Streamlabs OBS for this, but when I was using regular OBS, that would be here as well, so I can see everything. I have my chat window here. On my third monitor, I have a couple of notes, sort of a running order for me, since there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and I have a tendency to get sidetracked. I want to try and keep myself on target. So I have some notes. And then finally over here, I have the actual YouTube Studio interface, which is showing me that our stream health is excellent, and I can keep an eye on that and make sure that YouTube is receiving all of our data appropriately. So even though there's a lot of screen real estate here, it all comes into play, and I'm using all of it to monitor everything, because when you're streaming by yourself, you're sort of talent writer and producer at the same time, doing all the switching and running everything. So this is my desk setup, and that's what we've got going on. So that's a little behind the scenes there, so you can see. And this right here, I know you can't see it, but it's an awesome Han Solo and carbonite metal disc plate that one of my buddies, Koichi, got me. But yeah, I'm just tucked in the corner here. You can see I've got my main cam right up here. We're going to talk about that. Just out of frame up here, there actually is my key light. And then I have another light, which I'm actually staring kind of directly into right now. But we're going to talk about that as well. And I do have a little light hiding up on the ceiling. So let's go back to our main chat window here. There we go. Just make sure be detected. I didn't know some cannons would be. Okay, so we're gonna start talking about the specs and everything we got going on. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about that I had on my list was computer. So streaming these days, I mean, you can stream from most laptops. You're gonna want your stream quality and how the frames per second and the bit rates and all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna super get into the tech of all that, because even I don't fully understand it. But any reasonably powerful and modern laptop can even stream. I have an overkill rig because obviously I do video editing, so I am actually on a 2019 Mac Pro. So yeah, it's a big boy. It's not super spec'd out or anything, but it definitely has that Radeon Pro Vega 2 GPU, so the graphics card is pretty intense. And I think I have 14 cores in my CPU. So I am using the computer to do the encoding, so it's what's called software encoding as opposed to hardware encoding. So the computer is taking all the feeds in, the software is digesting everything and transcoding it and then pumping it out. So it can be pretty taxing on your system, so you do need to, if you are using software encoding, you're going to need to adjust it and fiddle with your parameters and everything in order to get the optimal performance out of whatever machine you're on. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all the tech specs and stuff to do that. Go and check out the channel Epos Vox, EPOSVOX. He is like the OBS and streaming guy and all that stuff. He's amazing. So make sure to go check out his channel because he really dives into the nitty gritty. And actually, I've watched pretty much all of his videos in order to get this stuff kind of set up right here. Let's see here. Kevin's asking, USB to Canon, interested. Maybe Bart can explain more. So I don't know much about Canon cameras directly via USB into the computer because I'm actually not using any Canon cameras. So I don't have any personal experience with that, and I'd have to look into it. But if anybody does know, either in here live, has any experience with that, please go ahead and comment it into the chat. Or if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment down below if you have any experience with that. But I'm going to move right along. We're going to get into software. So I know you've heard me mentioning OBS and also the fact that I've just switched to something called Streamlabs OBS. So let me show you guys. Let's go here. All right. Sorry if it seems like I'm going a little quick, but I know we got a lot to cover. So this is something that, you know, if you're interested in streaming, I'm sure you've probably heard about. This is OBS. This is their website. You know, open broadcaster software. It's open source. It's completely free. And it's pretty much the standard for people who get streaming for a platform that you don't want to pay for. And it is very versatile, very powerful. You have to do some, you know, manual tweaking and stuff to really get it set up and working the way that you want and optimized. So it can be a little bit intense for newbies, but there are great guides out there, and they have a forum and everything that can help you out. So free to download, Windows, Mac, and Linux available. Now, I've been using that forever, actually, up until my last week's stream. I switched to a new software because it just became available for Mac. It's been available for PC for a while, and that's this guy right here. It's called Streamlabs OBS. So since OBS is an open source platform, that means anybody can take that source code and sort of build upon it and make their own thing. So this company, Streamlabs, has done exactly that. So they've created their own, it is a separate program. It's very similar to OBS in terms of the layout and how it works, and I'll show it to you in just a minute here. But it has some additional features that Streamlabs offers. So a little bit easier integration with some alerts and some other things, a little bit easier to bring in some different source types, which I'm going to talk about. And basically, yeah, you know, they've taken the core engine of OBS and they're developing their own platform. So it is, a lot of the stuff is aimed a little bit more towards gamers rather than somebody like me. You know, we don't have like tip jars and alerts and crazy stuff happening all over the place because I'm not streaming a video game. But Streamlabs OBS, I've been experimenting with it and I've been pretty happy with it. So there are links to those down below, both free, if you want to go ahead and check that out. What do I want to do here? So I want to show you the software itself. So bear with me, you're going to get a little inception-y here. All right, so here you go, guys. This is my screen that is directly in front of me. And this is running my Streamlabs OBS. So as you can see, I have, this is one of the integrations that is awesome that Streamlabs OBS has that regular OBS does not, is it actually interfaces directly with my YouTube channel. I logged in with my YouTube account and I now have all of our chat. Actually, it brings it in right here. So it's all right in front of me. As you can see, very familiar layout to OBS. In the sense that I have, you know, audio mixer controls here. So I have my mic levels, and I'll talk about the audio sources that I'm bringing in, but you could have multiple audio sources. And the way it basically works is you set up these different scenes, is what they call them. And in each scene, so you can see them on main screen scene, you put different sources and kind of build whatever you want in there. So I have an alert box source, which is hidden right now because nothing happens. We have this main camera nest. So if I hide that, my camera goes away. I have cam outline, so that's that little outline that I put around it, so that goes away if I click that off. Center screen, I can make the whole screen disappear, so that source is gone. But yeah, I'm not going to go through exactly how to build these up. There are plenty of tutorials how to build scenes and all that stuff. But you know, a little bit of time and you can really set everything up the way that you want, and you build these different scenes and then you switch between them. So if I go to second screen here, you're going to lose OBS, but you'll see I just click second screen and it takes me over to that other screen and I have sources and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, OBS will be very similar to this. You know, in terms of its look, it won't have this integration with the chat. It has like subscriber things here. You know, you can see somebody subscribed 3 hours ago and whatnot. So there's a bunch of additional things that I've been experimenting with Streamlabs OBS. It is beta for Mac right now, but it seems to be pretty stable, and I've been liking it. I mean, let me know if you guys have used both of these or either or if there's one that you prefer. But yeah, very cool. Let's pop back to the chat real quick. Is this chat still not? That chat's still not working. It's okay. I'll troubleshoot later. That's one of the other things. Streamlabs has an integrated chat box as opposed to this one I put in via some CSS code, and their chat box doesn't seem to be working at the moment. I might not have linked it properly, but that's why I always have backups. So let me take a look at our chat here and see what we got going on. Talking about Canon USB link. Roxio is selling their old gaming capture HD to USB devices for $80 Canadian. Wow, okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about capture sources in just a little bit as well, because obviously that's a big part. You can have all your video feeds, but if you can't get them into the software, then you're not going to be able to stream anything. Let's see here. Shizan says, I tried to do frame capture from a browser with OBS, but it was stuttery. Yeah, so that can be something where it may be limited by the performance of your computer. So you're going to have to do some fine tuning with your bit rates and what's running on your system at the same time. You know, if you're really taxing your computer, then you know, you're going to need to reduce some settings and stuff so that your computer's not freaking out, because this can be very, very CPU intensive as it's trying to encode all these sources and lots of stuff going on. So obviously more powerful computers will have an easier time, but if your computer is struggling, you may have to reduce quality or reduce a couple settings so that your computer doesn't completely freak out. Again, please check out Epos Vox's channel, because he has taught me everything that I know about the specific numbers and all that kind of stuff. So Kevin is asking, don't want to interrupt. Come on, it's a live stream. You're supposed to interrupt. You know, otherwise it's just me talking. You know, that's no fun. Cover later if time. Why multiple scenes? Why not one scene and multiple sources? Okay. So what he's talking about is, sorry. Okay, so what he's talking about here is that I have all of these scenes in here, and why don't I just have one scene and then just fill it with a ton of sources? So you could do that. The problem is then if you wanted to switch, you would have to go in and turn off or on your sources. So that would be a pain in the butt. So like if I had in here another source for my second screen, I would have to turn off my center screen and then turn on the second screen. So what you want is you want a scene with all of your sources already set up as it is, and then you just pick the other. So then if I go to second screen, you know, everything's already done. Now actually this is a different instance of, so while it looks the same, like my camera here looks the same, this is actually a direct copy over to this second screen. It's actually in this scene as well. So that's why you would do that. And also the way that OBS and Streamlabs OBS works is it applies your transition settings and all that kind of stuff basically to switch between scenes, so from scene to scene, as opposed to blending with sources. So it kind of makes more sense to build all these individual scenes and switch between them, as opposed to just having a boatload of sources that you then have to turn on and off depending on which ones you want visible when. So hopefully that makes sense to you for why I do it that way, and it also is kind of the recommended way to do it and to build it. And then of course I have different profiles in here too. So this one's called YouTube Edit Suite. You know, I had one when I would stream from down in my studio. I had a different profile for that with different scenes based on that environment. So there's a lot of customization, which can both be daunting but also really powerful. So it's like anything, you know, if you put in the time and really get it set up, you can get it working the way that you want it to. All right, let's go back to our chat. That was a good question there. Hopefully that helps some other people out. Rob saying Epos Vox is the stream professor. Yes, that is actually his branding now. He's calling himself Epos Vox, the stream professor, and he deserves that title 100%. He's great. I was watching some of his stuff last night, and it was awesome. Okay, so now we're going to talk about camera. I've got one question here. By the way, is it true that you need like 1,000+ subs before YouTube allows you to do live streaming in the first place? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, Shiznuts. I think you can always live stream, but what it used to be was you needed at least like 1,000 subscribers to live stream from your phone, from the YouTube app. Now, YouTube changes their stuff all the time, so I don't know what the current levels are that you have to be at for each of those things. So I'm sorry, I don't know that. And, you know, even if I did put out that information, YouTube could change it tomorrow. You know, that's just how they do. Talking about an experience with StreamYard. So yeah, there are tons of different softwares out there, StreamYard, Ecamm Live, and that kind of stuff. I really like OBS and Streamlabs OBS because it allows me to bring in all these different other sources. You know, I have my intro video. I have stuff like my subscribe graphic that I brought in there. You know, all these things are very easy for me to bring into OBS. You know, that intro video that I always play, here you go, if you guys want to see it, you know, you got your little asset here, you know, then of course we have the intro video thing that goes in there. So all of these, there you go, won't make you guys listen to that again, but all of those things are really easy to bring into this, and some of those other softwares either don't allow that, they're just not capable of it. They're really just for multicams, you know, if you're doing interviews and talking and bringing in multiple people. But yeah, yeah, crazy. Sorry, I got distracted there. Devo Cut, Devin's in here. Good to see you, man. He says you can stream from accounts without 1K subscribers, but you do it in an account in good standing. So you need to have an account in good standing with YouTube. But Devin has confirmed for us that you do not have to have over 1,000 subs to stream, at least from a desktop thing. Devin, are they still doing the thing with where you have to be over 1,000 to stream from the phone app? The mobile app? I'm not sure about that. Let's see here, trying to keep up here. So Kevin got the information he needed for the for why to use scenes as opposed to multiple sources and all stuff. Okay, good. All right, so I want to talk about camera. So obviously you're going to want a decent camera to pump footage into whatever software you're using to send it out. Now you could use any camera that you can really get a clean feed signal out of. DSLRs, mirrorless cameras, you could use a webcam, you know, obviously their quality usually isn't as good. You could use a phone, you could do all of these things and set it up. So you have tons and tons of options, and I'm not gonna proclaim that one is better than the other, and it really is whatever works for you, but I do want to show you guys what I am using. So let's go right here, like I said before, my B cam. So up here, guys, you can see I have my camera. Now what this camera is, this is a Panasonic G7, and it's a 4K capable mirrorless camera. They're on sale all the time. I think even right now with a kit lens for like $500. I'm not even working in 4K. I'm only outputting 1080p from it, but it is an awesome camera for using for live streaming. The quality is great. I have a different lens on it than the kit lens that came with it, but the kit lens that comes with it is actually pretty decent as well. Let me switch back to our chat here. Aaron Parecki, streaming also requires verifying a phone number on the account. Good to know. Thank you, Aaron, for popping in here. That's cool to know. But what do I want to do? And I'm going to show you guys momentarily how I'm doing this next trick because it's pretty sweet. But does this work? Here we go. Let's take a close look at my camera setup here. So that is my Panasonic Lumix G7. I've got a Rokinon 14mm lens on there. I'm using a speed booster because this is a micro four thirds camera and this is a full frame coverage lens. It is manual, so I sort of set my focus and try and stay within that focus range. I do have the flip screen out so I can kind of, you know, see myself a little bit. It is pretty tiny, so I mostly do my focus checking and everything using OBS. You can see I have the HDMI out, so I needed to, this has a micro or mini HDMI, but it's adapted going into one and then going down and into the computer. I also have a dummy battery power cable in there. Sorry, I'll frame it up over here. I also have a dummy power cable in there, so this thing is always wall powered. It is always on, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't even keep a card in it. I don't record. It is literally just pointed at me for streaming purposes, and right now it is pointed at my gut. Thank goodness for black shirts. I will mention here, I have this mounted on something from Elgato. These are their Elgato, what do they call them, multi-mounts? And they sort of just, let me swing around the back here and show you guys. You can see there, they just clamp to the back of this desk. So they clamp onto the desk. There's a lip here, so it's underneath. I've got two of them here. But they go up, and then this is a different product that's called the Flex Mount. It comes with a whole bunch of different pieces. I just used one of the pieces that was a good length for me and extended the camera out, and now I have it in position there. You can see I do have another webcam, but I just use that for like business meetings and stuff like that. And I do have another multi-mount here, which is holding another Elgato product that we'll get to a little later. But this is the Elgato Key Light that I've been experimenting with, and actually it's pretty cool. But here you can see my whole desk set up a little bit closer, all the craziness. Got my iced tea. We're gonna talk about this guy. But yeah, here's a feed. So this is where I sit. And let me get back into frame. So yeah, Panasonic G7 is what I'm using. I'm considering maybe popping my Blackmagic Pocket 4K up there, you know, speed boosting it just like I am right now and doing that. The framing should be the same because they're both micro four thirds. But, you know, I might like the look and the quality a little bit more because I do like that Blackmagic look. Kevin is saying, please include link to the multi-mount if not already. Yeah, I don't think I put the link to the multi-mount, so I need to make a note here for myself to do that. Yeah, the multi-mount is actually pretty cool. The flex mount is okay. It doesn't grip down the tightest and everything. But let me see what we got here. Oh, Kevin's asking, off topic, what's the device showing 13.7K subs on your desk? Okay. So here we go. I pull this up again, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing this. As you can see here, this is my phone, and there are no cables. But Kevin's asking what this is right here. So this is the, oh God, what do they call it? LaMetric, L-A-M-E-T-R. I kept wanting to say LaMetric, like the color panel in Premiere. LaMetric Time. It connects wirelessly to your network and actually can show you your YouTube subscriber counts. It can show you, I don't have Instagram connected or Facebook. You can get Twitter notifications, the weather, the radio, the time. And all this stuff can be controlled through the app too. But I like to keep this little YouTube ticker here. And it'll change and show me when somebody subscribes and that kind of stuff. Just a nice little motivator thing and looks cool on your desk. So it's pretty cool. But now we're going to talk about how I'm doing this right here. Because this is another camera source. This is a trick that I learned just last night. Sorry if I'm bouncing all over the place, guys. But we got a lot that I want to cover. So Kevin was mentioning something called NDI. And there's links down in the description so you can really go in depth and learn about it. But I was learning about NDI sources for video and how to get them into the computer. And basically what it allows you to do is connect something. Right now I'm doing it with my phone here. Connect a device to stream video to your network, your existing network that you're connected to. And then both OBS and Streamlabs OBS, and I'm sure various other streaming platforms can do this, can pull that down as a source completely wirelessly. The latency is pretty negligible at this point, and I have a source. So I have my phone wirelessly as a source here using NDI. So here I've set it up. You can see here, iPhone NDI. I set it up as an NDI source, and there is a plugin. I have a link in the description down below for OBS so that you can get NDI capabilities. But I mean, in theory, guys, I could wander anywhere around my house with my phone because I'm connected to the Wi-Fi and send this signal right there via NDI. So if we turn around, you can see this setup here. You know, I've got my Pocket 6K that's filming us right there. This guy's off right now, but I use it basically as my light in here. You can see how messy. You can see how I've been spending my time in here building Star Wars Legos and stuff. But yeah, so this is absolutely amazing that you can do this. So let's go to the second screen. There are links to this, but here you go, guys. This is what it is. It's NDI. It's a new sort of protocol, I guess you would call it, from New Tech. But here you go. There's this is the app that I'm using, NDI HX, or is it camera? Yeah, camera. NDI HX camera. So this is the one that I'm using. Hey, look at that. Tony Gilliam just subscribed. Thank you, Tony. Awesome. And check that out. See, that's a Streamlabs OBS thing. I got the little alert that popped up there. That's pretty cool. But here we go. So yeah, you can download this. It's completely free. There was like no setup, guys. It just went, it just worked, and it was awesome. So the potentials and the capabilities of this in the future, I've got ideas about doing a completely NDI version of my new studio whenever it gets built, so that I can send all of my video sources from the basement over NDI to the Mac Pro up in my office, and let the Mac Pro do the heavy lifting and convert the video and push the stream out. All in theory, but right now I'm using it to use my phone, which in itself is cool because right now capture cards and all that kind of stuff are sold out like everywhere because everybody is trying to stream. So this NDI capability and the fact that it's free and was so easy to set up is just amazing. Like, yeah, NDI, I plan on doing a full video on NDI as I check it out more. I really do want to look into it and see its like how it works, why it works, all that kind of stuff. So that is something that I want to do a separate video on, but there is some information down below so you guys can really go and start exploring it yourself. I mean, this is freaking cool. Hey, Kevin, thank you very much for the super chat. Look at that. Oh, which side? Which side? Here you go. Another feature of Streamlabs OBS right there, that I have those alerts come up there. But yeah, NDI, guys, NDI. Blew my mind last night. Literally discovered this is like 6 o'clock last night and just like reworked everything, figured out how to make it work, and it works. So that's pretty cool. But that will actually segue us here. I want to keep moving along. NDI, obviously, very, very cool way to get my phone footage and into the software that I'm using. But you have to have other ways to capture sources into the computer. Like I have my Panasonic G7, and obviously it's pumping something out over HDMI. Now, how am I getting that into the computer? That's where, for streaming, and this is the kicker, where a lot of people, don't know which way to go or what they need or what they don't need. You need a capture card or some sort of capture device to bring the signal into your computer so that OBS will recognize it. Or whatever software you're using. It's the same if you were doing like a Google Hangout. Does that even exist anymore? Or if you're doing a Zoom call, or if you're doing a Microsoft Teams thing, you need to have the video source coming into your computer so that the software can recognize it and utilize that feed. So there's lots of awesome ways to be able to do that. Rob, awesome dude. Devin, thank you. You guys you're making me blush, man. I'm gonna have to change my white balance so you can't see me turn all like pink and flattered. I really appreciate that, guys. That's awesome. But yeah, you need to get that in there. And there's tons of products out there, and I've listed the ones that I've used in the links down below. So one of my favorites for a while was the Elgato Cam Link and Cam Link 4K. Now, unfortunately, there's the super chat alert from Devin. Thank you very, very much, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being in here too, because you can correct me if I say anything wrong about all this techie stuff. Devin's the one who helped me get my first stream set up when I had no idea what was going on about bit rates and all that stuff. But yeah, you could use an Elgato Cam Link, which is a little device. And actually, let's use NDI to show you my Cam Link. This is really funny. So this guy hanging out down on the floor here, I don't want to mess with it too much, is an Elgato Cam Link. So it is a little HDMI to USB 3.0 device. You can see I don't want to show you the rat's nest under this desk. Remember, this is a temporary setup, so I don't want to. All right, there we go, guys. Sorry about that. How long ago did we lose that audio? You guys were probably looking at my janky setup and wondering what the heck I was trying to show you if we had no audio. Of course, I'm doing a stream about how to stream and the audio dies. For whatever reason, the batteries that I just replaced in my my lav mic pack died. They literally took them off the charger and put them in before the thing started. So that was no good. We got Furworks in here. Here we go. If he says batteries. Yeah, it was batteries. It was batteries in the lav pack. So I got it fixed now. So hopefully you guys weren't losing me too long. You know, this is live. Stuff happens. Lots of things going on. But where did we cut? As soon as I got up. Okay, so you guys got to see all the jank, but you didn't get to see that. So let's, something about a rat's nest under the desk, then it died. Okay, so let me show you guys what we're going on. We were talking about the Cam Link. So let me go here. Let's try that again. iPhone NDI. I'll do the quick version now that I've had a practice run. So I think I was showing you guys, this is a Elgato Cam Link. So HDMI input to USB. USB 3.0 is what this is. These are actually really hard to get a hold of right now. I don't know whether they're discontinued or what, but you just cannot find them anywhere. I was talking about avoiding showing you the rat's nest that's under the desk. This is a temporary house, so I have not done any cable management. And then I was showing you guys this hilarious solution to get the this camera's feed to the Cam Link. So I have the HDMI out, but all my cables were too short because Amazon is not shipping non-essential stuff very quickly. So I didn't get any cables. So I had this switcher. That's what I was showing you guys. I was using this switcher to just sort of use it like a coupler, basically. So it's HDMI in, the HDMI just pumps right back out and then runs along this cable, then goes to the Cam Link, and then there's an extension cable, oops, sorry about that, that runs it over to the Mac. So that's how the Elgato Cam Link works right there. Let's see here. Sorry about that. So there you go. That's the rundown of what we got going on. So Elgato Cam Link, I do have a link down below to the Cam Link. So like I said, they seem to be sold out everywhere. I'm not sure if that's just because of supply issues, because of what's going on in the world, or if maybe the product is completely discontinued and will never come back. I don't know. That would be a shame because, man, I really, really love those Cam Links. And it was a struggle for me to even get a hold of this one because the ones I previously had got destroyed when we had the studio fire. But anyway, enough about that. Elgato Cam Link is one option if you can get it. Another option is, well, there's tons out there, but I've used the Blackmagic UltraStudio mini recorder. There's a link down below. That one was a little bit touchy, like some Blackmagic things can be. But it was another, I believe that one was that USB or Thunderbolt? I don't remember. But, you know, there's lots of options out there to get that in. And of course, if you have a PC or a Mac Pro like I do here, you can actually install a card into the computer itself so you don't have an external thing that can run in there. So let me see. I just want to check the chat before I show you guys what we got here. Something about a rat's nest. Stun says he's got plenty. Highest bidder. You trying to have a bidding war for Cam Links? Cam Links were going for double the price before they sold out. Yeah, people were snatching them up. I'm glad I stocked up on Cam Links before winter. Little dongle or one of them little boxes better? Does it not matter? So there's a lot of different opinions on which is the best capture device. Really, it depends on the quality and the frame rate that you plan on using. You know, a lot of these are designed for gaming, so they'll do like 60 frames per second. I'm just doing 1080p, but the Cam Links are capable of up to 4K if you get the Cam Link 4K. I think the 1080 version was completely discontinued, but again, we don't know if we're going to be able to get them. Blackmagic, the Blackmagic version, the Blackmagic option is 4K. Let me pull that up for you guys. And what are you guys using if you're doing some streaming? I know there's stuff from AverMedia, there's AVIO, there's tons of stuff. So let's go here. So here we go. Is this it? Yeah, so this is the recorder. So this is the one that I had used previously as well. So as you can see, it takes both either SDI if your camera does that, or it has HDMI, and the output was Thunderbolt. Okay. So this is another option. You know, it's an external device that will take it in, but there's tons of them out there. And just find something that fits your budget and fits the resolution and the frame rates that you think you're going to be streaming at. I'm not streaming at 4K or anything like that. Look, even these are back ordered, man. Everybody is just snatching stuff up. Craziness. Hard time to be streaming now, but when everything settles down, you'll be able to hopefully pick these things up again. Let's see here. Let's go back to our live chat. I know we got stuff going on here. Aaron is talking about the ATEM Mini. Yeah, so ATEM Mini, everyone has been all about from Blackmagic. I don't have one, and I really don't know if I'm going to get one. So, yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys what I got going on here. I see Design for Training will be using OBS and the Stream Deck. I do want to get to the Stream Deck. I'm all over the place. But let me show you guys what I am using for my Mac Pro for capture. I used an internal Blackmagic card. What is it called? The Blackmagic DeckLink. Sorry guys, I should have had this pulled up. DeckLink mini recorder 4K. Is that it? Yes. Blackmagic really needs to work on the names here. But this is a device that I'm using, so you can install this into a PC or any other computer. You know, Mac Pros, you can do it now because they have these PCIe slots. This is an internal card. you know, not bad, $195. Again, SDI in or HDMI in. I'm using the HDMI in to bring that source in. And again, request stock alert, you know, stuff's getting snatched up left and right. It's just crazy times right now. But the way that I got this into my system, just so that you guys can see, so let's go right here. So this is my Mac Pro when I got it. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of empty slots in there. Those are all the PCIe slots where you can add stuff. So here's a close-up. So here you go. Here's where I added. Actually, here you go. So here's the slots empty. So you can see there, those are all the slots that were available for expansion. Then I filled them up. That bottom card right there is the Blackmagic card, the one at the very, very bottom. The other ones are USB-C and USB 3.0, or actually 3.2 cards that I put in there. And then this is what the back of the computer now looks like. So you can see down there at the bottom, it's real easy for me to just plug either an SDI camera or feed, or plug an HDMI feed directly into the back of the camera. And then I'm able to very easily, in my software, pull these feeds in, create sources from the Blackmagic device, and do it. And it'd be the exact same way for the Cam Link. So let me show you guys here if we did this. I'm just gonna do a quick one. You know, I'd go ahead, okay, what do I want? Video capture device, say okay. And here you go, iPad, camera A, camera B. These are existing ones, or you could create a new source. And let's see, I'll just call it video capture device. And then here's my options. And it shows me my devices that are connected. So Cam Link, my webcam, or Blackmagic. So there you go. Quick little rundown of that. Sorry guys, trying to keep up here. What in the world is up with that? All right, let's go to our live chat. There we go. Sorry, I got myself kind of lost. So yeah, if you guys have other solutions for capture cards, like I said, people have different preferences, and it's what's available, it's what's affordable, it's what will do what you need. So I'm not gonna, you know, proclaim that one is better than the other, but basically the idea is you need a way to get your HDMI or SDI source into the computer, or nowadays, NDI. NDI is available as well, so that's definitely something worth exploring, especially in this time if you're not able to get a hold of all these capture cards. I really want to figure out if I can do a complete NDI, no capture card needed streaming setup. I think that'd be amazing. Okay. So I am all over the place. Let's see what we got here. Trying to keep up here, guys. I appreciate it. For Works is saying, AverMedia Live Gamer moved to the Cam Links and now onto the ATEM Mini. Yeah, so the ATEM Mini is sweeping. People are loving that. It really simplifies a lot of the situations. And it also acts as a switcher, which we're going to talk about as well. Kevin saying I use Pango 4K HDMI grabber, one HDMI input. Why totally interested in HDMI for at least 2 cams until ATEM Mini Pro shows up. Yeah, so I have 2 cams running into my computer here. I have the G7 that's running into the Blackmagic card internally, and then of course I have the Pocket 6K back there for that other angle that is running via the Cam Link in there, and then I have the phone going in via NDI. So I actually have 3 sources going in here, 2 that are wired. Rob, I guess has something coming out. We'll let you all know how that budget Roxio gizmo works once FedEx drops by. Okay, so he's getting a new budget device that might be able to bring it in there. See, there's tons of options out there. It's just really finding what works for you. Okay, so real quick, I want to go into audio as well. So audio, of course, is the other half of the equation. And it's extremely important and can be extremely confusing because video, you know, you take it, you pop it in, I'm able to see it and monitor it and I know what's happening. But audio, you have various sources. I've got the computer, I've got microphones, I've got potentially audio inputs from all 3 of my cameras, including the phone over NDI. Audio does go through that as well. And you want to be able to control it and you want to be able to mix it and do all that. So there are you know, mixer controls and stuff for you to control, and the volumes and mute stuff here in OBS and Streamlabs OBS. But I found that if I really wanted to get a little fancy and bring in various sources, like if I wanted to play a video file on the computer that you guys could hear it, but I needed to be able to hear it at the same time as well, it gets a little tricky. So I'm not going to go into the full breakdown of my audio setup, but I do want to show you what I'm using, because I decided I needed an external device to help me handle audio. And again, there's a ton of different devices out there that'll do this, but I'm going to show you the one that I use. So here we go. This right here, guys, is what I am using for my audio setup. So this is a Behringer, what is it, a Xenix Q802 USB mixer. So this is pretty much like any audio mixer you've seen. You know, you've got XLR inputs up there. We've got, you know, 1/4 inch inputs. But the kicker of this guy is that it has a USB output. So that USB output is what I'm sending into the computer as a source. So let's take a quick look here. It's like hurts my head to figure out like which source is going where and how to show this to you guys. So as you see here I have this is the USB source. So if I go to my settings here, go to properties, it'll show me, so I'm choosing the USB audio codec. That's what that device is over USB. So that's where I'm getting my audio. So I'm actually pumping, let me go back to my iPhone NDI. So I'm actually taking the audio from my computer and inputting it here. So here's the computer sound. I have it turned down right now so that if any alerts or anything pop up, they don't get you know, blasted through on the stream. But normally I have this in the middle so that I can just listen out of my speakers. My speakers are shut off right now, but I'm bringing the computer audio out of the 3.5mm out at the back of the Mac into this, mixing in my wireless lav pack. So this is how I'm running it right now in our temporary setup. So I used to have a shotgun mic that I mounted, but it's going in here so I can control my levels here. So as you can see, I'll get quieter and quieter, and then I can bring myself back up. So all my adjustments here, but that's all mixing together. And then I have main mix control here so I can mix everything and then pump it back out over USB into OBS, Streamlabs OBS in this instance, but basically, yeah, so it's right there. So this is probably overkill, but it allows me to, you know, connect multiple XLR microphones if I ever needed to do that. I could put in an auxiliary source if I had another device that I wanted you guys to be able to hear, like if I have a soundboard thing that I wanted to do or something like that. This mixer is there. So there's links to this mixer down below. It's not the best, it's not the most expensive, but it works. At least for my purposes right there. Okay. But yeah, so audio is key. You know, it's 50% of it, you know, some would argue even more, and it's a big part of the equation. And depending how simple or complicated you want to get with it, you know, you can go with giant rack solutions and routing the audio, or if you want to do just talking head, you know, if this was the only thing that I had, you know, I could potentially just put a mic on my G7 and run my audio to that and bring it in over the Cam Link or into the Blackmagic card, and you could be done. So it can be as simple or as complicated as you want. It gets more complicated when you have different audio sources like the computer or a potential another microphone or another device that you want to control. So that is some quick thoughts on audio. An audio genius I am not, but yeah. So John is asking, how do you sync audio with video? So because I am actually bringing everything in over USB, I don't have to, and none of my audio is going to the cameras. So I'm not sending my audio to this camera or to that camera or anything. It is going straight into the mixer and coming in as a USB source. You do have options in, it is pretty well synced to everything. What am I doing here? But I believe you can do, I believe you can put a couple of delays, like frame delays and stuff, on your audio sources if you are noticing that there's a little bit of drift or they're out of sync by a couple frames. You know, obviously HDMI, you know, the audio will get there first, the video might be lagging a few seconds behind, but all of my audio is completely separate from my video feeds. So none of my audio is coming in over HDMI. It's all coming in USB from the mixer. So I'm sort of taking all of my video sources, they're one thing, and then I'm pumping the audio in as a separate source. So that's how I'm handling it. But yeah, you do have options in here to go and change those delays if you are noticing that you're having some issues with audio sync. And sometimes audio sync issues will pop up just if your computer's working too hard and it really can't process the video as quickly and it's starting to lag behind. So if you do notice that, you may need to reduce some of your video settings or your quality settings so that it can keep up with that, because obviously the video is a lot more difficult to process than the audio is. All right, we are moving right along here. How we doing? Yep. Iced tea, delicious, love it. Okay guys, so obviously you've seen me going into my Streamlabs OBS software here, and I have all my scenes. You know, this is going to be similar for, you know, identical for OBS and very similar for other softwares that you're going to use. But you want to be able to switch between these. So for this particular stream, you've seen that I've been going in here and actually just clicking. So, you know, I click on one and it changes us to a different feed. Hello. So that is an option to go through in here, or of course you could set up hotkeys on your computer to be able to do that. All this stuff is in the software. It's really easy for you to set it up. So if you wanted to use your keyboard to do that, you could. But those of you who are familiar with the channel know that I have a device that I absolutely love, and that is another one from Elgato. That is the Elgato Stream Deck. So I want to show that guy to you right now. So here we go, guys. Right here, my right-hand man, quite literally, because it's right here at my right hand, this is an Elgato Stream Deck, and this is actually the Stream Deck XL. They make them in 3 sizes. So there's the standard, which I think is like 12 keys or something like that. Actually, I think it's 15 keys. This one is 32 keys, and then they make a smaller one, the mini, which is 6. There's links to all them down below. So you can pick the one that's the right size for you. But this interface that I have right now is my usual interface for controlling my live streaming stuff. So I actually have a little counter here, how many people are watching, and each of these represents one of my scenes in here. So they have corresponding buttons. Now the reason I'm not using this today is because since Streamlabs OBS is a beta for Mac, it does not yet integrate with this. It does not yet work with the Elgato Stream Deck, but the Elgato Stream Deck does work with regular OBS. So if I were using regular OBS right now, I would be able to use all of these controls, and you'd see me tapping these to switch my scenes as opposed to coming over here and clicking my actual sources. So this, I love this device, and not only for streaming purposes. You can see up here at the top, I have control of lighting. And if I go to my main profile, so like I said, you can have pages and pages of stuff. You know, here we go. I've got all these quick shortcuts to applications that I use all the time. I use it in editing in Premiere. So if I go into Premiere Pro Tools, I have all these things I use here. But anyway, for streaming purposes, we go in, and I have it still labeled as OBS tools, but you're able to switch with this. So the Stream Deck Mini, of course, is something very similar, but the Stream Deck Mini only has 4 buttons or sources. And you can make this thing do everything. You can make it send out tweets like, hey, I'm going live. You can program anything into this. Like, I can actually start live from there. You know, it's just, you program it to do anything that you want, and it's absolutely freaking amazing, which is why I'm hesitant about getting an ATEM Mini, because I feel like I have so much more control with the setup that I have right now. Now, the ATEM Mini, very simple. If that's what you want and just switch, it's a piece of cake and it just works, that's great. You know, of course, that's awesome. That's what a lot of people want. It's what a lot of people need to get into streaming, because this stuff, while I love the nitty gritty of going in and programming the hotkeys and linking all these things together and even making my own icons for these things, you know, that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm able to control everything for my stream right at my fingertips. Just not right now with Streamlabs OBS. Fingers crossed it comes out of beta and they give me my Elgato Stream Deck integration. But for using regular OBS, yeah, it's perfect. You know, I just sit here and instead of looking for my scenes and clicking, I just go right here and just click, 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 and it changed all my stuff. And it's awesome. So let me see. I gotta catch up here. New Legend Pictures. Aaron's in here. Good to see ya. Rob's saying, Curtis did a great video the other day showing how he makes sure his audio is in sync when he doesn't push the audio into the camera first. Okay, great. So definitely go and check out Curtis's channel. Curtis is the audio guy, and he's getting hardcore into live streaming as well, as everybody seems to be right now. So go check out Curtis's channel, because he will be able to answer any audio questions, and I might even go over there and get caught up on his videos about audio. So let's see here. Furworks is saying, wow, OBS doesn't work with the Stream Deck. I'd have thought that was an instant no-go for you. So yeah, you know, it is interesting. So yeah, Streamlabs OBS does not currently work with the Stream Deck on Mac. It does on PC. So that's what gives me hope that the integration is going to come. So on Windows, it does work with the Elgato Stream Decks. With Mac, it just doesn't yet. So I think it has to come out of beta. The Streamlabs OBS has to come out of beta for Mac, and then I'm sure they can get the code over to Elgato or Corsair or whoever owns them now, Logitech, I forget who owns them now. And then they can make the appropriate adjustments for the Mac OS system so that it can work. That's what I'm assuming. New Legend Pictures, are those all little screens inside those buttons? Yes, they are. So each of these buttons are actually little LCD screens. And so I made my own little icons and I put them all in there. You know, a little coffee cup for taking a break, little Mac monitors and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can customize all of that. I mean, I could do an entire show on just the Stream Deck and how I use that thing. And who knows, maybe I will, because I do love that thing. Okay. Getting caught up. My question was just answered. Kevin saying, I assume you are not monitoring your audio right now. If you are, how? So no, I am not personally listening to my own audio right now. I don't like wearing headphones when I do these. I like to be a little bit more natural. Now, that is risky because I have to have some confidence that I have everything set up and you guys aren't hearing something weird that you're not supposed to. I do have levels here. I can see my controls, you know, on my mixer in front of me, so I know that my computer's not sending you any audio and all that. So I see my levels, so I'm kind of confident in that. Now, if we had some like hiss, or of course when the audio cut out earlier, that's the risk of not being monitoring it. So what I could do is I could, you know, plug headphones into this. I absolutely could. This mixer has a headphone out, and I could be wearing headphones and monitoring the stream. I just don't like to. It is risky, and you saw the consequences of that earlier today. You know, I lost audio, and I wasn't aware of it for a little bit until I came back, saw the chat, and you guys told me about it. So monitoring is a good idea. Maybe if I get something that's more comfortable, you know, I have big overhead, over-ear ones, and they seem to get kind of hot. You know, I don't want to go AirPods, but maybe if I can find something that's comfortable for me, like to put in my ear, an IEM in-ear monitor, then I'll do that. So yeah, normally you do want to listen to it because you can't have your speakers going. Otherwise, you're going to get the feedback. I'd be hearing myself talking. I'd hear all that stuff. It would be a horrible loop. You'd speech jam yourself, and it's crazy. So right now, I am in a quiet room, just me talking to you, and I hear nothing else. Even when the elevator music stuff plays, I don't hear it. I see on my software that it is playing and I see the levels, but I don't actually hear it because nothing's coming out of my speakers. That's at least my setup right here. Let me see what we got. You can control the ATEM Mini with the Stream Deck, and it's really powerful that way. Man, this Stream Deck is awesome. That might make me more interested in the ATEM Mini. And this is just me personally, guys. The ATEM Mini is a freaking awesome piece of tech. Blackmagic has done an incredible job with that thing. You know, I'm just stubborn, and I like the way I've got stuff set up. But the Stream Deck can control that too. Like, the possibilities are endless. It's amazing. Kevin was saying, I think it was you who just blew my mind saying I could program Premiere Pro shortcuts into my Stream Deck. Yeah, you can. I really need to do a whole... I did a video actually about using it as an editing control surface. It's an old live stream, and I talk about the Loop Deck, a Shuttle Express, and the Stream Deck. So I'll put a link down below after this to that video, so you can see. It's another live show, so it'll be kind of lengthy, but you can go in there and see kind of how I was using the Stream Deck and getting it set up for Premiere. Just added myself a note there. Trying to keep up. We got a good crowd in here today. I like that. Aaron says, you're doing a good pitch for OBS. Now I'm thinking ATEM Mini for camera switching, then overlays with OBS. Yeah, so that's what I've been saying. The ATEM Mini, and this functionality could change. The ATEM Mini is great at handling those HDMI sources, but then you don't really have much else. You know, how are you going to put like graphics like this up there? How am I going to put custom overlays and stuff like that? I really like to be able to pump all that stuff out. And so if I did get the ATEM Mini, I would probably use it just as a switcher, just to switch between my camera feeds and run it via single HDMI into my computer and control everything via OBS or Streamlabs OBS in this case, because I want to be able to do all this stuff and control it. So at that point, it's got me thinking like, okay, well, is that really a value to me to spend $300 on the ATEM Mini then if I'm just switching when I'm perfectly happy with switching with my Stream Deck? Or even really you could just click. So yeah, there's tons of ways to go, and it's hard for me to pick a route, but I know I'm kind of on my path down this way, so I'm not sure. You know, there's a strong possibility that there will be an ATEM Mini, at least for experimentation purposes, on my desk at some point in the future. But for right now, I have everything set up here in a way that I really love. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, Aaron was saying, it's like, yeah, it's free. Yeah, OBS and Streamlabs OBS, both free. The software, at least, you know, Streamlabs does have a subscription model after that. You don't have to get it. I'm not using it, where you can get all sorts of overlays and packs and stuff like that from them, and that you have to pay for. But yeah, no, it's free. Free. Like those annoying commercials that are obviously stuck in my head. Niha says, keep safe from that Chinese virus. Use this time to learn. Thanks for showing the setup. Of course, yeah, this is, you know, this is the perfect time to take something up and learn. Unfortunately, it's a difficult time to really dive in completely brand new into live streaming, especially on the hardware front, because so much of this stuff has been snatched up and supply chains are interrupted and all that. You know, I think every capture device I showed you guys today is out of stock, and we don't know what's going on, if they'll come back, when they'll come back. But I will say it again, NDI is freaking cool, so we'll figure that out as well. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, or are enjoying the stream, and hopefully you get some stuff out of here, and hopefully you guys can get some good streaming going on your channels or wherever you're streaming. Let's see here. Rob was saying, I've been super happy with Touch Portal Pro. Worked great as a small Stream Deck clone. Okay, on my Android phone, and kills all comers are on my Chromebook? Huh, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it sounds like you have something for your phone that'll do the switching as well. There is actually an app for the Stream Deck that you can control it from your phone. Just saying. They've got this thing figured out, which is pretty cool. Oh, what is my shirt? My shirt is Ulversholt Brughaus. I probably said that terribly, but it is a brewery in Iceland that I went to. It's a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. And it was recommended to me, and we went, my wife and I, and we hung out there, and we had some great beer, and it was awesome. And we asked it, you know, for a sampler of a couple of the beers, and the guy literally poured us every single one of the like 20 beers that they make because he was just so happy. But yeah, it was cool. So yeah, this is an Icelandic brewery. Okay. DevoCut's also saying we also use the Stream Deck to control vMix and TriCasters. So yeah, the Stream Deck is not only paired obviously to OBS. You know, you can really make it work with most software. If you can have hotkeys in software, you can set up a profile on your Stream Deck to control it. Pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. Kevin saying, Photo Joseph has a great video about the ATEM Mini. Yes, Photo Joseph does have an amazing video about the ATEM Mini. Please go over to Photo Joseph's channel after this. Don't go anywhere right now, and check it out. He's another live streaming guy that I've learned a ton from and taken tips from him, and he's got it down, man. He'd probably yell at me. I think Joseph would yell at me for doing software encoding as opposed to hardware encoding, but that's a whole nother thing, which now hardware encoding is available in the ATEM Mini Pro. I'm not even going to get into that. There's so much going on. And of course, the next question is, I jumped at the ATEM Mini Pro waiting, which would you choose? So I'm not sure yet, Kevin. So let me know what you think of the ATEM Mini Pro when you get it. And if you have any questions for ways to utilize it, I mean, feel free obviously to hit me up. Let's figure out what this thing can do. You know, if you're going to be able to get your hands on one, that's awesome. Rob says itch scratched. I saw something here that I missed. Downstream keyer for overlays on board. You can bring in a video source from the computer. It overlays into one of the... So yeah, the ATEM Mini is getting there. I just feel like I have so much more customization and flexibility with this software. I might be wrong. You know, I'm not saying that this can do stuff that the ATEM Mini can't or won't be able to do with updates. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Where was I? Great video. Yeah, Photo Joseph's. We got that going there. Awesome. Touch Portal Pro is an app, so that's an app that can control. Okay, so we're talking about various ways. So we're still on control. So yeah, there's ways to control your live stream, whether it be simple clicking within within your software. So you know, this might be a little recappy, but you know, I can click any of these scenes here and switch over. That's the simplest. It's free, doesn't cost anything. My computer has a mouse, the software is free, and click, and there I go. Or you can start looking into external control surfaces. My preference right now is the Elgato Stream Decks, and of course we got the ATEM Mini from Blackmagic, which is an awesome $300 switcher. I mean, we've talked about it so much, I'm gonna make sure to put ATEM Mini links in there after the show. But yeah, it's incredible. Does a switcher, and now they have the Pro, which does hardware encoding, which is a whole nother league where you could really run everything with just that thing. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of capabilities out there. Like I said, I haven't gone that route, which is kind of surprising because I have a lot of Blackmagic cameras and I'm using Blackmagic capture card in my Mac Pro, that I haven't, you know, gobbled up the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro. But I do like the setup that I got rocking right now. Trevor says, yeah, but you're doing software encoding with a Ferrari, so don't worry about Joseph. You know, I was going to say that too. I was like, okay. I was like, but I consider this kind of hardware encoding. You know, my computer is the hardware doing the encoding, and it's a freaking beast. I was like, I could throw anything at it, and it would have no problem. I was thinking the exact same thing. So thank you, Trevor, for backing me up on that. Yeah. I have a super powerful machine, but if you don't, you know, if you have a smaller laptop that really just can't handle the processing of the video feeds that you want to pump out there for your streams, then something with hardware encoding like the ATEM Mini Pro is the way to go. I mean, it takes all of the pressure off of your system and is doing its encoding in there. Now, remember, that's the ATEM Mini Pro, not the regular ATEM Mini. The Pro, that's one of the added new features, is the hardware encoding in there. So that's pretty cool. So let's see here. Forwork says, one warning for anyone wanting to run in the ATEM Minis with the Pocket 4K or Pocket 6K. With the new updates, there's no way to prevent it from switching your camera to B-RAW. I've tested it quite a bit. Yeah, I saw that. You can't record ProRes internally while you're doing that camera control of streaming. It can only record Blackmagic RAW internally, which kind of turned me off because I really would like to, if I did use that for camera control, now we're going down a crazy path here, but if I did use that, I'd want to be able to record ProRes internally. I'm not sure why that's locked out. I don't know if it's a processing thing, but it doesn't seem like it should be. Maybe it'll change in the future, but good note there, Furworks. And he says, that is for anyone not converted to the Church of Blackmagic RAW. I have not yet. I have all Blackmagic cameras, but I've shot very little Blackmagic RAW. Rob says, I've been to China and had more than a few great beers there. Haven't been to China. Seems like it might be a while before that's even an option in the future. But would love to go, you know, when the world calms down and everything's back together. So what do you say, guys? You want to take a look at my lighting? I know we're beyond our usual hour. We're at about an hour and 15, but I'm good to keep going if you guys are. There's nothing super fancy about the lighting that I'm doing in here, but there are a couple things I just wanted to show you guys. So we're going to take a quick look at the lighting that I've got going on in here. Let's go to the iPhone NDI source. You can tell I love NDI, man. I am all about that. Like, that's so cool. All right, so here we go. So let me show you guys the lighting that I've got set up here. So as you know, there's the batteries that betrayed me. So as you know, this is my, this is where I sit the whole time with you guys. So I've actually got 3 lights going on here for this setup. So this is my key right here, and it is literally called the Elgato Key Light. It's kind of expensive for what it is, but it is a nice soft source panel, relatively thin. You know, I've got it set up there, so here you go, you can see it. I've got it on one of these multi-mounts, like I showed earlier. It plugs in, so it doesn't take batteries. It does go to AC power, but it has a nice long cord, and it goes up there. It is bicolor, so can adjust the color temperature of it, so that's nice. Then for my little kicker light over here, you probably saw this earlier, I have this light. This is the Nanlite Forza 60, and I just have the reflector dish on it. It's actually pumping out, just kind of spilling light all over the place. You can see what it's doing over here, but that's to hit my shoulder right here and give me a little bit of definition there. This guy's running on wall power as well. That's a great little LED light. I think it's only at like 17%, pretty crazy. Links to this down below as well. I really like this light. And then my last light, there's the Han Solo in carbonite there. But the last light is this little guy right here. Look at the blue messing with the phone sensor. This is an Aperture MC RGB light, and I have it set to blue. So it's giving me a little color cast down here, you know, just a little accent. And the way this is up there is this is a drop ceiling, so it's metal. And this thing has magnets on the back, and I literally just magnet it to one of the bars and leave it up there. And so that is my lighting. And so one thing that I want to show you guys as well is referencing this guy right here. Like I said, this is the key light. If we go to the Stream Deck here, I can actually control the key light with this top row. So I've programmed these in. So on and off. I can do this from my phone as well. I have a preset for 50%. That's the brightness that I like. Color temperature preset, but I can adjust the brightness. I can adjust the color temperature. And then if I want it back to the way I like it, I can hit my presets. And there it is. So because it's Elgato, it can all be controlled from right there. Let me reset that. So that is a pretty cool feature. And of course I can control the light from my phone and even from my desktop as well. So that's actually kind of handy for streaming with that right there. let me go back to the chat right there. Let's see what we got. What did I miss? We're talking about some beers, Thailand, some different, it's Shiznuts and Rob are talking about some beers. Man, I'm jealous. It sounds good. See here, Furworks is saying, hey, did you ever hear from Nanlite about the Bowens adapter for the Forza 60? I've been having to use it bounce off the ceiling since all I have is a reflector dish. You mean the Fresnel for the Forza 60? Yeah, they do have one. Oh my goodness, there's no space in this room. Got it right here. So I just have the reflector dish on there, but this is a, mini Bowens, so it's much smaller. And then it is a Fresnel. So a little bit off topic here, but it's live chat. Let's hang out. So yeah, I did find this. I will put a link down below and make a note to where you can find that and pick that up. Furworks, let me know, just confirm for me that that's what you were referring to. Okay. Oh, what a feeling, bouncing off the ceiling, Shiznuts says. Kevin saying, Stream Deck lighting control, mind blown again. Yeah, with the Elgato Key Light, you can do you can control it directly from the Stream Deck. You can put presets so that it's like one touch and it's exactly at the levels that you want. Or you can sit there and adjust it and do whatever you want, all from the Stream Deck. And like I said, you can do it from your phone as well. There's an app because it's the same thing. It connects to your Wi-Fi network, and any device that's on that Wi-Fi network will be able to talk to it and control it. Pretty cool. It is kind of expensive. I mean, it is a good light. It is a powerful light. They do have another one called the Key Light Air. Let me put a link to that one. I think I just have the link to the big guy, which is a little bit smaller, might be a little bit more affordable, but I thought this thing was worth checking out, and it does come with that mounting stand. So when you buy the Key Light, it does come with that that mounting stand, so you don't have to worry about it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Devin saying, when are we getting another smoker stream? I'll try and work on that. I've just got this set up in here working, so now you want me to start streaming from outside. You know what? Using this, slap a mic on it, NDI, audio and video from this, it would actually make it really easy for me to stream from outside and send the feed in here to the Mac Pro and then pump that out. That's pretty cool. So a lot of experimenting for me to happen with NDI sources. And I have also been exploring possible hardware devices to convert even just my other cameras to NDI capable. So something to take that camera's feed in and then pump it out as an NDI source that can be then picked up by any device on the network. Pretty freaking cool. Yeah, Devin saying full NDI stream. Yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with this NDI after finding out about it last night. And again, if you guys are just joining and you just keep hearing me say NDI, 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 and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? We talked about it earlier, so go ahead and watch the replay, or there are links down below to all the information you could ever want about this new technology, NDI. Well, new to me. Apparently it's been around for a while, but it's the capabilities of it are becoming readily available for us, and that's pretty cool. Talking about grilling streams, talking about eating, a bike ride, open. Now I'm overlooking the sea from my couch as the sun sets here right now. Man, you're living the life over there. That sounds great. Let's see here. Kevin is saying, thank you so much. Learned a lot. You da bomb. No, Kevin, you da bomb, man. I know you got another stream coming up later on this afternoon, so I'll be there for that to heckle you in there. And nah, I'm just kidding. I'll come. Not kidding about showing up and hanging out, but kidding about the heckling you, sort of. But yeah, I think we have covered a lot today, guys. So we covered the computer a little bit. You know, basically what you're going to be able to do is going to be, you know, limited by the capabilities of your computer, specifically that CPU, because most of these software encoders are going to be really reliant upon using your CPU in order to convert your streams and handle the footage. So you're going to have to tailor what you're using and even your bit rates and quality and all that kind of stuff to what system you're using and the capabilities. Kyle Markham, thank you very much. A super chat in here. Would you get a 300? Oh, a 300X. So you're talking about the aperture. Okay. So would you get a 300X? I need a light to go with the 120D. So there's my thank you. Thank you very much for the super chat. I am interested in the 300X. And we're not going to dive into it super in depth right here because you know, we're really talking more about the live stream. But I will just say out there for you guys, that is the bicolor version that Aperture is coming out with of their very popular 300D LED light. So the 300X is the bicolor version. I'm sure it would have been a huge hit at NAB this year, which would be happening in like a week and a half or something like that. But yeah, so X or D. Okay, I see what you're saying there. Would you get a 300X or a 300D? You know what? I have never used the 300X, so I don't know if it has any quirks or caveats. I'd have to look into that. But if you really are just shooting mostly daylight stuff, especially if you're gonna pair it with the 120D, the 120D is only daylight. So I would probably go with the 300D. I don't know the pricing on 300X, but I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be more than the 300D because it's bicolor. So my vote would be 300D. That was a long answer to a short question. Sorry. New Legend Pictures. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. I love the little thumbs up guy. That's cool. Dude, you guys are awesome. Rob's asking a little bit about lighting here. What about the new series of Godox VL series of lights? Gerald Undone was pretty impressed. Haven't used those either. Did see Gerald's video. Would be interested in checking those out. New Legend Pictures. Thank you very much. But before we get too far off topic, I'm just going to do this recap here of what we've kind of talked about. You know, we've been streaming for about an hour and a half now, which is awesome. Love you guys. But yeah, so we talked about the computer. We talked about there's a lot of different softwares out there. A lot of them free. My favorites, OBS, and my current favorite that I'm experimenting with is Streamlabs OBS. Whichever one works best for you, go ahead, check them out. There's links, they're free. There are paid ones out there. There are ones that do more than these softwares. There are ones that do less than these softwares. There are ones that do things differently. There are things that do one thing better than another. There's a lot out there, but I find that pretty much the best full-featured for what I'm doing is OBS and now Streamlabs OBS. I like the little additional things that I can get with Streamlabs. And the cool integrations and all that stuff. We talked about cameras, you know, that you can use. I'm using something as simple as a Panasonic G7 here, and it looks pretty darn good. We also talked about, in terms of cameras, you know, NDI, the new technology to bring in cameras as NDI sources, which is completely wireless. Right now, I'm running my phone as an NDI source into here. I only just discovered this, and it has been awesome. An integral part of today's show, because otherwise I don't know how I would have really shown off a lot of this stuff. But the ability to do that allows you to skip over the hardware portion of needing a capture card or capture device. We talked about a couple of those, talked about the Cam Link, talked about the Blackmagic options, and then of course there's built-in cards if you have a system where you can add a card into it. So we talked about those. Audio will drive you crazy the more you try and add different sources, you know, just trying to wrap your head around it. How do I listen to this but not have it loop and then they hear it and then it goes through? But we talked a little bit about audio, and I find that having an external physical device, whether it be this Behringer mixer or something like the Go XLR is something that's out there, whatever works for you to be able to pipe your audio in and then send it to the computer, to your software, is the way to go. We talked about switchers. You know, we have ATEM Mini that is out there. That is an amazing device. I have not picked one up. I have not played with it, but people are really liking it. You have the ATEM Mini Pro, which can then even take the place of your software and computer and actually handle that encoding and switching and all that stuff. But my option, my choice, my favorites right now for my setup is using the Elgato Stream Decks, along with the OBS and Streamlabs OBS software, in order to be able to easily switch between my scenes and sources and make all sorts of events and graphics and kind of stuff happen. Not available in Streamlabs OBS for Mac yet. They don't talk to each other yet because Streamlabs OBS Mac is a beta still, but the Stream Deck does work with Streamlabs OBS in PC. Okay. And then we talked about lighting. So lighting is pretty much whatever you got going on in your space, but the real kicker was that Elgato Key Light that I wanted to show you guys, because it does have that neat party trick of being able to be controlled from the Stream Deck or from your wireless device, your phone, iPad, whatever you install the app on, you can control it. But having that there, having those tools right here in my switcher in the Stream Deck, can also control my lighting. I like that. It's pretty cool. So that's a little party trick for that particular light. The other lights, I have links to those down below as well if you're interested in checking them out. But you know, they're just lights. So it's whatever you want to do to light your stream. I think we're gonna wrap this up here. That was a pretty good roundup. I know I have a bunch of links to add. I'll do that right after the show is done and processing. Let's see here if we have any other questions in the chat. A little bit about the Go Docs and all that. Doesn't look like we have anything specifically live stream question related here. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap this up, guys. So really hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a long one, so if you have stayed with us the whole time, that is awesome. You are a superhero. If you're watching the replay and you've made it this far, dude, you're awesome. But make sure that you go ahead and click subscribe and that notification bell so that you get to be one of these awesome people hanging out here live in the chat next time that we go live. And of course, the next time we go live will be, once again, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, right here. Same time, same place, all that. But yeah, guys, this was fun. I can't believe everything worked. We had glitches, but then we got to explain them. It was perfect. I like it. Well, not perfect, but you know what I mean. But yeah, guys, if you have any other questions, pop comments in the chat and all that kind of, or comments down below. And you guys have been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Hang in there for another week, and I'll see you next weekend. All right, everybody, take care.